want to bring in former Congressman Dennis Kucinich, a former presidential candidate himself and a Fox News contributor. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. First, your reaction to the email scandal. WikiLeaks releasing 20,000 emails, and that's why, obviously, it came to light.
Well, it reflects a culture inside the Democratic National Committee, and as such, I think that when you add up all of the things, the setting a debate schedule that was insufficient, the superdelegates, there's so many things which basically prove that this election was rigged against Bernie Sanders.
You think, now, we were talking in the commercial break, you think Bernie Sanders should do more here?
Well, I actually think that it's time for him to consider withdrawing the endorsement, because it's not just about him, it's about a movement that he represents, which got 46% of the votes in the country. And it was, that kind of conduct was totally dismissive of almost half of the Democratic voters. And you cannot have that kind of contempt for voters. And I think Bernie, I think he ought to at least consider withdrawing the endorsement.
You know, we've been talking and hearing from the Democratic National Committee yesterday as this was happening, Tony Sayegh, they kept saying, well, he wasn't going to win anyway. But the truth is, we'll never know that for sure.
Well, doesn't that confirm the whole idea that it was rigged in the first place?
To make that
and the evolution is crazy, Maria. You and I were together yesterday morning. At that point, Debbie Wasserman Schultz had just said she's not going to speak at the convention. By the end of the day, and Bernie Sanders' interview had, I think, a lot to do with it, she was out as the head of the DNC. But, Congressman, I agree with you. I think Bernie Sanders should be strong in maybe reconsidering his endorsement. Doesn't sound like he's going to do that, though. But it sounds like his followers are pretty darn mad.
Well, they are. And, you know, as a former candidate for president, I can tell you that, you know, you cannot expect the people who support you to just go lockstep with anything you say. And so that, you know, the Bernie movement is a little bit separate from what the candidate might want to do.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to what you just said, Maria, where the DNC's excuse was, well, he wasn't going to win anyway. Right. In other words, their conduct actually helped to create a self-fulfilling prophecy where Bernie was locked out because the game was rigged.
That's right. And I remember when we were watching all of those debates, we were all scratching our heads saying, why are they doing it when the playoffs are on?
Hello.
Why are they doing it on a Saturday night when no one watches on a Sunday night? I mean, they were all very low, you know, viewing nights when they did these debates.
But, Congressman, don't you think this is endemic of a larger cultural problem within the DNC, within, you know, with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, with Hillary Clinton? This is the second email scandal that we've seen in the past year with the Democratic Party. But don't you think that the party itself needs to look and say, you know, we have a cultural leadership problem here where we're allowing this cronyism to go on, unfair tactics to go on, that if the Republican Party did, we'd be skewered for doing it?
Well, that's true, but let's go one step further. This is a whole new era where technology is impacting politics in a powerful way. Right. The millennials will understand this better than anyone, because you don't put anything in an email that you wouldn't expect to have to read publicly. And so the politicians are just getting caught up. And I think that what it reflects is an older political culture that pre-internet, and it hasn't really caught up. And so, again, but there has to be some kind of comeuppance here. This is not right. This kind of politics cannot continue.
Congressman, I suspect this disturbed you as much as it disturbed me and others. The idea that it was revealed they were contemplating using Bernie Sanders' religious beliefs as a campaign issue.
Right.
And at a time where, particularly as Republicans, we're often demonized by our opponents on the left for being racist, being bigoted in some fashion. Certainly our presidential candidate today is assailed by those things. Doesn't that reveal a hypocrisy? That they were actually willing to do it against their own...
Well, I think it goes a little bit worse than hypocrisy. Here's why. The head of the DNC, Jewish, okay? And proudly so, and that's a good thing. But how can you have underlings trying to trap somebody, you know, about his religion, which also happens to be Jewish?
Right.
I mean, it boggles the mind.
Really,
and so
the email was one of the officials basically saying somebody needs to ask him, do you even believe in God? And then he said, look, my peeps in West Virginia are that will really resonate with them. You know, maybe he's an atheist.
Well,
he's Jewish.
The question now is, does the DNC believe in fairness? Does the DNC believe in the Constitution of the United States and freedom of religion?
Right.
Does the DNC believe in trying to unite the party?
I wouldn't be surprised to see two campaigns that have these sort of emails going back and forth. But I think the crucial difference here, it's not that these were two campaigns. This was the Democratic National Committee overtly planning how to take down one of their candidates.
There's no way to defend this. It's indefensible.
Tonight, Bernie Sanders will speak. Tonight. We'll see what he says. We'll see if he addresses this. That's going to be something to watch.
He's going to need to address it.
Yeah. And Michelle Obama, the First Lady, will speak tonight. So we will be obviously covering that. Congressman, good to see you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman Kucinich there.